All right, you Stranger Things fans, did you see it? Did you see where they got the story wrong? All through season 2, they were building up to a moment, and then they lost that moment. Now, why that's important is because that story is your story. And if you get your story wrong, you're going to keep making the same mistakes that you've been making. So if you want to learn how to understand your own story, learn how they got their story off and how maybe you get yours off sometimes, come along. Let's do it. Hi, I'm Brett, your favorite shrink, and this is my 5 minds. This is your user's guide. This is your trainer so you can understand how your brain works, so you can learn how to do more, be more, and feel better. And what we're doing in this particular 3-part set is we're looking at the story of even stranger things, or stranger things, and making it even stranger, and talking about how that story is your story, how those characters are you. And this is our last episode. This is where we're going to look at what went wrong and how we need to make sure our story is right. Now, in the first part, we talked about my 5 minds. Do you remember? Thinking brain, creative mind, thinking mind, creative mind, emotional mind, and brainstem, or body mind. Sitting on top of that, or connecting all of that, is your conscious mind. Who are our 5 characters? We have Dr. Owens and Dr. Martin. We also have all the kids, particularly Dustin. And then we have 11 and the Upside Down. And then we also have the demi-dogs, or the Demogorgon, which are your base brain. The last one, the last conscious mind that sits on top of it all, is you. The watcher, the viewer, the one watching it all play out there on your screen. Now, in episode 2, we talked about drivers. We talked about what motivates us. And the whole storyline is that the doctors were looking for some kind of power, some kind of superpower within our own human brain, and they found it, and they unlocked it, and then they couldn't control it. And that's you. You have a superpower. Stress, anxiety, fear, self-hate, all the negative things that you have inside drive you. Those are your drivers. They're all of our drivers. Now we're trying to control them. Now that we've got them, now that they're working in our life, we're trying to undo the damage that those negative drivers have been doing for us. In this episode, we're going to look at the answer, the solution, what we need to be doing instead. Because you cannot hate your way to happiness. That is never going to happen for you or anybody else. All right, let's look at the story real quick, and then we'll start to see where we went wrong and where you can get your answers. So all through, particularly season 2, we see 11 is on a journey. She's on a quest. She's trying to understand herself. Who am I? Who am I? She wants to connect with the people around her. She wants to build relationships because she knows that whoever she is, she doesn't want to be alone. She wants to feel a part of. So part of who she is a sense of belonging. That's the other part she's looking for, is a sense of belonging. With the sheriff, with the kids, even with her own family, her biological family. She's looking for a search for a sense of belonging. Now, as we go through that search, as we go from episode to episode, I hope I'm not giving anything away, what we see is that she begins to discover, and sometimes by mistake and sometimes on purpose or intentionally, she begins to discover love. Love is her driver. She's in a situation with her sister where her driver is anger. Her driver is revenge. Her driver is hate. And she's like, no, that's not my driver. That's not who I am. That's not what I'm about. And so she comes back. She comes back to her friends. She comes back to her family. Because that's love. That's where she feels loved and connected. That's her driver. When she was able to take that van in the very first season, take that van and throw it, you know what her driver was? It was love. She was protecting. She was protecting her friends. So all through the show, she's playing with different drivers, particularly when she meets her sister. And what she discovers is anger is not her driver. Anger is a place of power, for sure. And it's a strong place of power, for sure. But it's not her driver. It's not what she wants to make her driver. And then we get to the end of the show. And then there's this amazing showdown between her and the upside down. And she's got to shut it. She's got to shut it down. She's got to turn it off. And you know what she uses to turn off the upside down? Anger. She uses rage. And I'm like, what? How is that going to work? What's the cure to your anger? Is it more angry? Are you mad at yourself for being mad at yourself? Does that really work for you to help you not be so mad at yourself? Gosh, I hate myself. I'm such an idiot. Really? Is that working? No. It doesn't work for any of us. But that's what she ended up doing at the very end. She ended up getting into her rage, using her rage and anger to try and stop something. She would have been 10 times better off if she used really her love. If she thought about not the things she was mad about, but the people she loved, the people she wanted to protect, the people she wanted to take care of. If she could generate that energy, that would have shut the door. Really shut the door. What probably would have happened for her, and if that was a true story, and it is for us, it would just fed it. It would have fed the upside down. So don't make the same mistake. Use love as your driver, because that's really what you want. So when you think about motivating yourself, when you think about getting things done, I want you to think about why. Why do you want to get it done? Why do you need to make the bed or do the dishes? Why do you need to go to the bank? Why do you need to pay the electric bill? I want you to think about it as a gift of love, because that's what I want your driver to be. I want you to do everything because you love, not because you're mad at yourself or stressed or anxious or upset. I want you to do things out of love. Now, to our last lucid dreaming exercise. This is where we get to put it into practice. All right? Our last lucid dreaming exercise. We've done one where we've taken our mind map and began to map out our dreams so we can begin to see the patterns and begin to see and remember our dreams. Start to become conscious. Step 1. Step 2, we want to now interrupt the process. Step 2 and change, always. In step 2 and change, we looked at episode 2, which was we wanted to start introducing superpowers into our dreams, where we can start interrupting the dream. And we practiced it a little bit as we would wake in the morning and we come back and rewrite our dream in the morning. Now step 3, I want to practice real lucid dreaming, where you're in your dream, you're conscious enough and you're in your conscious mind enough to be aware of what's going on in your emotional mind. And then in the dream, not after the dream, but in the dream, then start introducing change. And yes, I want you to use your superpowers, but I want your superpowers to be driven not out of fear, hate, anxiety, whatever, self-protection. I want your self-protective mechanisms to be driven out of love. It's superpower strength, it's flying, it's reading people's minds, whatever your superpower is, that's great. But I want your driver for your superpower to be love. All right? Love for you, love for the people around you, maybe even love for that enemy in your dream. And see how that works. Thanks for coming along on this little journey. Hey, if this was useful, you liked it, then like it. If you want to see more and learn more, subscribe. And if you want to make any kind of comments, if you want to ask a question or want to share your experience, put it down in the comments below. I'm Brett, your favorite shrink. And thanks for watching My 5 Minds. Take care. I'll talk to you soon.